All right, so first let's start with the fit check. You know what I'm saying? We got the Dharma Glow hat. We got the 2024 swag. The kingdom of heaven is within you. You know what I'm saying? Getting fresh out here. Now let's go for a walk. Okay, so I really like this walking and vlogging thing. It feels very organic. And I don't know exactly what the framing is. I don't know exactly all the technical things, but like I'm willing to just go off the cuff because I started this on Christmas Day and it's a vibe. So anyways, what is the point of this video? This point of the video is to talk about how the kingdom of heaven is within you. You saw it on the back of the shirt. The kingdom of heaven is within you. That's what Jesus said, and what does that mean? Because in traditional Christianity, the kingdom of heaven is thought of something that you earn based on your good behavior, following the 10 Commandments and all that. But in reality, you already have access to the kingdom of heaven because God has already given you everything that you need. It's just whether or not you have attuned yourself to the frequency of heaven. Because heaven is a frequency. Dimensions are frequencies, just like notes have different frequency ranges, like between one note and another. Heaven is a very specific dimension. And you can manipulate or change your dimension based on, what you eat, what you consume, not just physically, but mentally, the type of conversations you allow yourself to participate in, the type of information you allow into your awareness and consciousness. That's why controlling a narrative and controlling people's mind the way they do with media is one of the biggest forms of like frequency bandwidth control, because you can keep people trapped in a certain low vibrational state. And slavery has become more like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, know that you already have the power to access the kingdom. It's not granted to you based on your good behavior. It's granted to you based on adherence to universal law. And those are different things, because good behavior involves duality. It involves the mind. It involves judgment. But reality is oneness, unity, wholeness. And you are already whole. You were made whole in the Creator's image. So all you have to do is embrace your totality and live in alignment with God's law. And when you are sinning, it really just means you're acting in ignorance of divine law. And it doesn't mean you're bad, but it could mean that you're suffering because you're not in alignment. So like, human beings are not made to drink gasoline. So like gasoline would be a sin because you're acting in ignorance. And like alcohol has some similarities to gasoline. It's obviously a different concentration of alcohol, but that's just a subtle example because that's a depressant. And for me personally, even though I went through, a decade plus of drinking a lot, it's not something that I feel like elevates my vibration to a heavenly state, so I let it go. And not that I can't like sip on something if I feel inspired, but it's just not something I choose to do on a consistent basis. And since I had my time with it, I definitely grant everybody the power of choice to decide what's in alignment for them on their path. But that's the journey of all getting to decide what is going to bring me into deeper harmony, deeper embodiment of my divinity. And this state, I've been speaking of it more abstractly and more about the choices you make, but it's also scientific, because this heavenly state is also something you experience when your kundalini is activated. And your kundalini is what lives at the base of your spine, and it goes up your spine to your pineal gland, and it flowers. It gives you connected to universal consciousness. And there are many different things to be aware of. And really, the Bible is a manual for how to activate your kundalini. and how to live in the heaven dimension. Like in Revelation, the book of Revelation, the 7 seals are about the 7 chakras. And I recently just got tuned into the idea that even the 12 disciples that Jesus chose are referencing the 12 cranial nerves, the most popular one being the vagus nerve. But when you go back and read the Bible as a manual about you, right? It's about you and how to unlock divine mind within you. And all the places represent different parts of the body, different parts of consciousness. You get to see it in a whole new light. And the greatest gift you can give the world is your personal awakening. When you are personally awakening and you have surrendered your lower mind, your egoic will to divine mind, and you act in the spirit of service for all beings, and you recognize yourself as one with all beings, you are also serving yourself. So, you know, it's a beautiful day to be alive. It's a beautiful time where we get to tap into these higher levels of awareness and learn the secrets of the kingdom. Because in traditional Christianity, it's taught that Jesus is the Son of God, the sole Son of God, but he's also God embodied. And it's like all those things are true to a degree, but they obscure the truth that we are all sons of God, daughters of God, children of God. Hold on, some loud motorcycles are coming. You want to see them? Yo, I figure you probably can't hear me, so we're just gonna let him go. Okay, so where were we? I lost my train of thought for a second there. But that's the good thing about this no edits vibe, it's just gonna keep going. So, oh yeah, we're all children of God. So we're all children of God with the same capacity and potential to be Christed beings. And Christ, the etymology of the word is Christos. The etymology of the word Christ is Christos, which means clear, which means the light of God is shining through you without any distortion. So you're able to be a conduit for divine love out into the world, because really all we're here to do is give and receive, you know? Bless each other with love. Like actually be the experience and the embodiment of love, because how beautiful is it to have a body? It can be challenging to be a human if you don't know universal law, but if you do and you abide by it and you're living in a state of vitality and actually eternal life, which is what we're actually meant to have. The story of Adam and Eve is about how we lost eternal life, and that was about, you know, stepping into duality, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, right? That was moving from the eternal, non-judgmental realm to the dualistic, judgmental realm. But we can regain this state of divinity, and the whole point of life is to regain this state. And once you gain it, then the only thing to do is to become a servant of humanity and help other people gain the state. And that's what Jesus was an example of. That's what the Buddha was an example of. That's what Kuan Yin was the example of. And, you know, Yeshua was not the only being who has been enlightened, nor will he be the only being that's been enlightened, because right now, at this specific time on the planet, 2025, 2026 and beyond, the information is not so hard to get. And now it's just about, can we focus on what's truly important, which is the kingdom of heaven. Seek first the kingdom of heaven. Can we focus on that and become these Christed beings? And then our whole society is living in a Christed way. And that's heaven on earth, literally. That's what heaven on earth is. So I hope this gave you some good food for thought. I just want to say that there are a couple things, topics that I want to talk about next, and one is the chain of command of how to live your life according to divine law, and the other is storytelling, because storytelling is the most powerful communication tool that human beings have. And like I was saying, Yeshua, aka Jesus, is not the only enlightened being, Christed being, but the reason why he's the most famous is because he has the dopest story. So really, he's a really profound storyteller. So when you understand how stories shape people's understanding and how your story will be passed throughout time, that's when you really start to become the director of your life from a higher perspective. You know what I mean? Because your actual embodiment in this particular form, Dijon in this particular form, is very short. Like Jesus was 33 years, but we've been talking about him for thousands of years, and we will still be talking about him in 1,000 years. You see what I'm saying? So, thanks for coming along for me today. Leave a comment, let me know what resonated. Let me know if you want to hear about the chain of command next, or how to master soulful storytelling. All right, much love. Peace.